Hi folks, today's video will be featuring one of the more recent combat subs by Glycine, and this is the vintage sub, model number GL0264, and here she is. Now this is the standard 42mm case. As you can see, it's two-tone, so you've got gold on the bezel and on the crown, and that's not rose gold, that's just usual yellow gold. But the case is all brushed, not polished anywhere. Even the case back is brushed. And you've got a rubber silicone strap here, nicely signed with the Glycine logo. And on the buckle there. It's a good strap, it's flexible, not too thick, not stiff. Very well made. On the bezel there you've got a red marker at the 12 o'clock position and a Lume pip. And this is the vintage style Lume. The indices and the numbers there are not applied, but they're painted with thick Lume, and this does glow very brightly. You've got quite an unusual date window in the fact that it's white with red numbers there. And then you've got red marking on the dial underneath showing the water resistance. That's 200-meter water resistant. The hands are gold and filled with a generous amount of Lume. The gold accent here goes really nicely against the blue dial, which you hopefully can see has a unique texture to it. Has that sand type texture on the dial. That's quite unique for this type of watch. The bezel itself is aluminium, but really well finished. Got that brushed edge to it. And then of course the indicators are in gold against the dark blue. Looks quite smart. And the crown is signed, of course. I'm not usually a fan of two-tone watches, but this one seems to pull it off quite well. The gold really works together with that dark blue. And being vintage, maybe it gets away with it a bit more. It looks fine. I love the matte brush finish on the crown. Being gold, it seems to pop even more than if it was polished for some reason. It just looks so nice and chunky. And the crown action is, of course, really sweet. Pulls out perfectly with a nice pop. Buttery smooth. Just change the date. Go the other way. Screw down, of course. So have a look at the case back now, which is standard for combat subs. But being a vintage style watch, they do this one with brushed finish as well as the top of the case, whereas all the other ones are polished. I think it looks much nicer with the brushed look, and the engraving there is a bit deeper as well. So let's look at the dial in a bit more detail. You have the original logo there, which seems larger than on the standard ones. And you get to see that wonderful texture. Coin edge bezel. And quick mention about the strap. It has the quick release mechanism on these, which is fantastic. Makes changing the strap super easy. And that's about it. Not much more to say about this wonderful watch. Hopefully, if you're thinking of getting one, this gives you a better idea of what it looks like for real. And these can be had now for around $350, which is really quite incredible when you think you're getting a well-machined Swiss-made automatic watch. Super quality. These Glycine combat subs at these prices are in a league of their own. I really cannot think of any other watch that can compete at that price. Even if they were $500, still be a great price. So let's have a quick look at how this looks on the wrist. And there it is on the wrist. That is sweet. That strap hugs the wrist perfectly. So before I wrap up, we'll have a quick look at that marvellous Lume. Better than most of the standard combat sub looms. These vintage ones have a really strong, bright lume, as you'll see in a minute. So there you go. That's the Combat Sub Vintage GLO 264. Just another marvellous version of the infamous Combat Sub. So I'll leave you with some tasty close-up shots now. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time.